One of the most fun aspects of the Legend of Zelda series is exploring the world and finding loot. This can come in the form of rupees, heart pieces, upgrades, and materials. Of course, this is something I'll want to incorporate into my own game, which is based off of the Zelda series. The first type of loot I want to make are ground pickups, or just items that you can walk into and collect. I'm starting with these three things: hearts, bombs, and arrows. The hearts will heal the player when they're collected, the bombs will increase our bomb count, and the arrows will increase our arrow count. And this process was pretty simple to do. Once the player collides with the item, the effect of that item takes place. One important consideration though is to make sure that we're not going above the maximum value when we collect it. For example, with the heart, we want to verify after collection that we haven't exceeded the max health value. If we have, then we'll reset our player's current health to match the maximum. That way, we'll never have more hearts than there are heart containers. And the same concept applies to the bombs and arrows. We have a max arrow count and a max bomb count, and we never want to exceed that. Now that these ground items are ready, I want to make them spawn in whenever we defeat an enemy. In the Zelda games, whenever an enemy is defeated, there is normally a chance of some item being dropped, and I want the same thing to happen here. So I put in some very basic loot logic for the enemies, which will probably change over time. When an enemy is defeated, there is a 50-50 chance of getting loot. If you do get loot, the odds are evenly distributed between the three current possible options. However, if the player is already at max for any of these items, for example being at max health, that option is removed from the drop table, just so it doesn't feel like a waste. So once I defeat an enemy, that drop logic takes place, and the item appears. But it looks weird having the item suddenly show up out of nowhere, so I added in a little bounce effect when the loot gets spawned. This makes its appearance look a lot more natural. Now that enemies are dropping loot, I wanted to add a second way that the player could find stuff throughout the world, and that is from treasure chests. There's going to be two types of chests, small and big, and I'll start off by implementing the small chests. Once I got them included into the game, I made it so that you can interact with them, and the sprite changes to become opened. At this point, we need the loot to appear. I wanted to do it in a fun way, so I made it so the loot bounces out and the player goes around and collects it. I like this setup a lot, and it's really easy to configure what loot any given treasure chest contains. Each chest has a unique name, and then in the code, I can specify what loot will get spawned when it's opened, as well as each individual item's bounce direction, so I can tell the chest exactly how each item will bounce out, which is really nice when there's different amounts of items in the chest. The big treasure chest is going to be reserved for key items like the main weapons or important collectibles. These chests behave a lot like how they do in the Zelda games, where you walk right up, open the chest, and you receive the item that's inside. Both types of chests will be useful, but there will definitely be far more small chests than big ones. And with that, the loot system is ready to go. As the game continues to grow, new loot types will be added, and that will be easy to do thanks to how versatile this system is. Just a quick reminder, this game is completely open source, so if you'd like to take a look at the project on GitHub, the link is in the description. Also, shout out to ARM1998 for many of the amazing sprites here. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, or game development content in general, be sure to subscribe. I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.